Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey, I know it's early. It's like 6:22 in the evening, and I just want to come on for a few minutes. I want to give everybody a chance to get logged in. Um, I'm not going to be super long, but I do have something that I need to say on this evening. So I want to come on and be brief with you guys and just share a word or two with you on this evening about some things that have been heavily
And I just want to
on me,
go for it.
on my heart, and some things that I've seen and been aware of what's going on. Forgive me, my phone was up as I logged in to the feed so I could see everything that I need to see here. Uh, so I want to say good evening. Pray that all you guys have had a great day and that you're safe, you're home. Uh, in this world that we live in on today. It's we should not ever take for granted that we have returned home or that we're going to return home from a day's notice, from a day's work when we're out. I witnessed a hit and run today. uh, I went into a neighborhood, realized there was even a shootout in another neighborhood, well kept neighborhood as well. So it just lets me know that none of us are exempt from anything that would go on in our lives. One thing I do want to address on this evening that has really been something that has really been working with me, man, for a long time is that I want to deal with something that's plaguing society continuously, and that is violence. Violence in a domestic manner, violence in the streets, uh, violence in the homes, violence in the schools. I work in the school district, so you know I see it. I see student on student violence quite a bit. You know, it's real, man. It's real in the way that people manipulate and move throughout the world. And I had to really sit back and wonder and examine, not wonder, but just examine what really was the cause of a lot of these behaviors that triggered violence. Why are people so violent to one another? You see people that are dating and that call themselves dating in middle school, and people that are dating in high school, and people that are adults that are dating, and you see that uh, it's been a thing that it's just that domestic violence, man, is so prevalent today that many have deemed it to be okay. And I want to say to somebody on today that it's not okay. And I know I talked about this last time. It's because it's been so near and dear to me. So then I had to go back and really take some do some meditation and prayer about this and say, Lord, I know why, but show me why in the text as to why we have such hatred and so much violence and so much disrespect in the world on today. And as I did all of my meditation and look back over this thing, one of the first things I realized was that there's a lot of lost love in the hearts of people on today. Not sure how it has affected everybody, but somewhere along the way, there has been some lost love in relationships. And if you could just really wrap your mind around this, there's a certain thing called paternal toxicity and maternal toxicity, which leads to a family toxicity because now the situation becomes toxic because there has been a toxicity introduced in relationship maternally and paternally. And when those things happen where there are things become toxic, there becomes a loss of love for people. People lose love for one another. They lose that love, and they feel like that. Why should I love when no one loves me? Or when I feel like no one loves me? Why is it so important that I learn how to love others? And believe it or not, that carries over into the workplace. And we don't want to like talk about this too much within the workplace, but in the workplace, there's a loss of reverence, not only for ourselves and for our co-workers, but we just don't reverence anything. We don't reverence the superiors on the job. We don't reverence the company. The only thing we figure is that we show up and we get our check and we go home. But there's a level of reverence that should be there on the job for your supervisor. You shouldn't just show up and treat your supervisor as common. And the same thing goes into relationships. There has to be a level of love and a level of reverence. When there's love, reverence, and respect, that sets up an excellent, well balanced recipe to de-escalate violence within any situation. I believe that if there was more love in the hearts of people, there would be less violence in the streets. If you for those of you that are Bible readers and that you are strong in your faith and believe, you understand that Second Corinthians chapter 5 talks about what the love of Christ compels. Can I give you three things that the love of Christ does? The love of Christ compels, constrains, and controls. Write that down. The love of Christ constrains, controls, and compel. It compels you to love one another as much as you love yourself. It gives you the ability to have some constraint on how it constrains the hate that you harbor inside, and it also helps you to control your mindset, your attitude, your temper, so that you're not easily upset, overwhelmed, ready to take out your anger or want someone else to feel the wrath that you're feeling. We have come to a point in our life right now that with the loss of love, with the loss of reverence, with the loss of respect, it has led us to what's known as diminishing morals. Wow. Diminishing morals. What does the word diminish mean? Diminish simply means that things are decreasing, they're going away. They're no longer to where they were. As a kid, when I was coming up, and I often tell my wife and my kids this, is that wherever there was a father and a grandfather present in the home and in the relationship, there were always deep morals. And there was a level of respect that always stood there. Man, I'm 56 years old, and my granddad has been deceased for a number of years now. And I said to my mom just the other day that, Mom, it's still some things I hear in my mind when I want to make decisions that my granddaddy has etched into my mind and into my heart. And it shows that I still have a level of reverence of the things that are righteous that my grandfather taught me. My granddad was big on kids, and I think that's why I'm in the position that I'm in. That I like working with kids to make a difference. I like to catch them in the middle stage of their life, so that now I can help them to overcome the challenges of their younger years, so that we can now be successful in our latter years. That's the goal that I have when I work with kids, throughout in my secular job that I do, and also in my life coaching when I do teen mentoring, youth mentoring, blended family teaching, and the various things that I do, when I work with families. So that doesn't, uh, it doesn't come as much of a challenge to me as it does. If you see those, that's the light actually coming from my camera here that's shining on my glasses. I'm trying to get that out, but there's been a thing called diminishing morals, where morals have diminished and there's more unethical, immoral, and illegal activities being accepted in the lives of our youth on today. Not only in the lives of our youth, but they're being accepted throughout the community. They're being accepted in the classrooms. They're being accepted in the homes by some parents, because you got some parents, single parent homes, and they're doing all they can do. And then you have some that the kids have just outgrown the parents, and with a single parent, she can't do anything with that grown boy the way that a man can deal with him. And then society has also caused a problem to the fact that abuse is never good for anyone. I'm talking about abuse. Abuse is never good, but discipline has to be instilled, because wherever there's discipline, there will always be love, reverence, and respect. Write this down. Violence is fed through loss of love, lack of reverence, and no respect. They all feed into violence through what's called diminishing morals. So the mathematical equation for this in words is L of L plus R plus diminishing morals. They all lead to violence. Over the weekend, last week, 3 cops shot. Woke up this morning, 2 cops shot. Why were they shot? They were doing their job. Somebody lost a husband or a wife, man, because they were out doing their job, trying to protect and serve. At some point, the love of Christ has to be introduced back into the hearts of our youth of today. We've given them, they have been given too much control over them choosing how they're going to live their lives. As a parent, at some point, and I'm not criticizing anyone, I'm just telling you from the Christian faith that we need to be able to have more say so or influence over our children's lives about having a prayer life, a life of respect, a life of reverence, and a life of love, not just for themselves, but for other people as well. One of the things I hear quite a bit, dealing with youth, is that I'm not going to respect somebody that don't respect me. Man, what is respect? And I give them this analogy is that respect, you can't demand respect. You have to command respect. There's a difference in demanding and commanding. When you're demanding respect, you're telling someone, you're trying to make someone respect you without you even showing any respect to them. But when we command respect, it's a level playing field now, because what we've just done is I've given you respect. So now you're going to respect me. We got to learn to command it and not demand it. Diminishing morals, loss of love, which is an expression taken to the 10th level of violence. Man, when do we stop? When do we realize that violence is not the answer? We can go back to 1960s and we can talk about Dr. King that taught nonviolence, nonviolence, nonviolence. Well, today it's being pushed as more violence, more violence, more violence. You do unto me, I do unto you. Even from the Christian aspect, we're taught that we should be able to turn the other cheek and move on. We have to let go of grudges. We got to quit thinking people are looking at us wrong. We got to quit thinking that we are able to dictate every situation in the way that things go. There are rules and there are authorities in everything that we do. Everybody has a set of rules and authorities to follow. I had a problem in following rules when I was younger. Man, I was very rebellious. I wouldn't follow the rules for anything. I'm going to do my own thing. And it caught up with me. It costed me a career because I chose to do my own thing. It set me back a good 20 plus years because I would not follow the rules that was laid out for me by the authority that I worked under. And then we blame everybody else. Even when people get to the point that they do things and we begin to say, I don't know why they did it, and we begin to point fingers. The prophet Hosea gave a message from the Lord when the Lord told Hosea, he says, Israel, I have a problem with you because of your lack of faithfulness with me and that you continue to return to idolatry. But he just didn't have a problem with Hosea. He had a problem with the priest that was teaching. He didn't just have a problem with Israel. He had a problem with the priest that was teaching the people of Israel. So now society and leadership, where do we stop blaming the people that are doing the acts and start taking some responsibility for ourselves and say, how can we help fix the problem? And begin to teach more, begin to welcome more, begin to instill in our youth's heart and mind that violence is not the answer, that we got to learn to love one another. We got to learn ourselves. First, we got to learn how to love ourselves, and then we got to learn how to love one another. We got to learn how to reverence our parents, our grandparents, the authorities, the principals of within the school. We got to learn how to reverence the teachers. We got to learn how to reverence those, the police. We got to learn how to reverence those that have been put by the government and principality and the local municipalities that are ruling over us in our community. We got to learn how to develop some reverence for them. I hope I have said something to help you, to encourage you on this evening. And I want to leave you with something that I want you to really consider and think about. There are 3 words, 3 studies I want to run at you tonight: sociology, psychology, and theology. And pay close attention to me when I tell you this. Your sociological makeup has a great effect on your psychological mindset, which also affects your theological perspective. Your sociological makeup affects your psychological mindset, which also impacts your theological practices. What we've learned in our society, in our homes, in our community, what we're teaching and what we're pushing, it affects the very psychological makeup of those that are watching us. It makes it so great that we need to be very careful in what we introduce our children to, what we introduce other people's children to. Be careful what you introduce yourself to. Hey man, I see you there, Facebook user. Can you let me know who you are? I see you in the chat here. Let me know who you are, and I would make that public, and also make sure you can share it. But we have to be careful to understand that our impact is great, and our psychological, sociological, and our theological, they're all combined in one. A bad theological understanding would cause you to have a unacceptable psychological. You won't be able to process things in the manner that you were created to process those things. And when your psychological is turned, man, it's a recipe that is hard to recover from. Let me show you this. I'm an inner city kid. I was raised in Shazita Gardens for a little while over in Memphis, Tennessee. If you look up Shazita Gardens now, it's probably one of the roughest places in the city of Memphis. I grew up there as a kid. I remember living in places and having to do things that were not always moral and ethical and legal in order to survive in the streets when I was a young kid. Having to help my mom support two other siblings, myself and two other siblings, man, it wasn't easy. But what happened is my sociological mindset was impacted by what I seen. But because my sociological mindset was impacted, I was able to then wrap my mind around it psychologically to be able to overcome the sociological challenges that I had in my life coming up as a kid. And a lot of us have held on to the fact that this is the way I've always did it. This is what I do. This is what they taught me. But has it always been right, man? Some things you got to be able to have some discernment. You got to be able to discern good from evil, right from wrong, good from bad. You got to be able to say that don't work in society anymore. I can't just treat people any type of way and get away with it. This is why we have so many broken homes and so many broken relationships, because of the sociological mindset. It does not grow and adapt with the psychological that you have grown into through your educational processes that you've learned from watching others, or there has been a rejection of a theological base in your life. It's very important that you have a solid theological base in your life. Many have frowned upon the word theological or theology, but theology simply means the study of God. And no matter what your mindset is about belief or about your religious perspective, at some point, everybody I know have had a conversation and called and said, "Oh my God." Even if you said enough to say, "Oh my God," that means that you've acknowledged enough that there is a God in heaven, that there's a creator, a God that has created all these things. Because you called out, you said, "Oh my God," that's recognition of who God is. So that means you have a theological base. So if you have a theological base, now your mind is already wrapped around and gravitated to it. It can now begin to change your psychological impact and your sociological impact. Your sociological impact has a lot of things going on. It includes your finances, it includes the way that you treat people, it includes a lot of things. But when you get to the point that now you understand that you can change your mindset because of what you have going on and what you're doing, things do begin to change. I want to encourage you this evening to go ahead and let's just embrace. Let's just embrace the change that God is placing in your heart, that He's instilling through the Holy Spirit in your mind, that's impacting your theological understanding about who you are in God. Remember, Christ compels, Christ constrains, and Christ also controls. When the love of Christ is in your heart, you have the ability to compel, constrain, and control. Galatians tells us that under we're controlled by the Spirit, we're no longer subject to the things of the law. In other words, we're able to know how to love, have forbearance, have long suffering. We're able to do a lot of things because of the fruit of the Spirit that is in us. And we receive the fruit of the Spirit of love, forbearance, long suffering, forgiveness. We receive those things and experience them through an impacted theological situation where we have a new impact about the theological aspect of our life through the psychological understanding that we too have the ability to not only be loved, but to love ourselves and how to love one another. Hey, that's all I got. I want to run this by you. You see on the screen up there at the bottom left hand or your bottom right that you're speaking to the Trey Harris, Christian life coach and senior pastor. I am the Christian life coach at Propelliiing Life. That's 2 L's, 3 I's. I'm also the senior pastor of New Life Christian Fellowships in Texas, the one and only New Life Christian Fellowships in Texas here in the great city of Killeen in the great state of Texas. I provide a number of services to people. And I want to say to you on tonight that if this has spoken to you and has caused you to reevaluate yourself because of your sociological, your psychological, and your theological mindset, let's have a conversation. You don't have to be a Christian to talk to me. I do spiritual coaching, spirituality coaching as well, because I'm able to understand it. And the most important thing is I want to help you to become the person that you believe God has designed you to be. It doesn't make me a hypocrite because I work with non-Christians. I work with all people. Acts 17 talks about being in Athens, where Paul walked in and he said, that same God that you're talking about, the God that you have addressed as the unknown, God of the unknown tomb, the God of the unknown is the same God I've been talking to you about. It's that Jesus I've been talking about, the one that hung, bled, and died on Calvary and rose on the third day with all power in his hand. Paul said that's the same Jesus I've been talking about. So regardless of what your theological makeup is, we can still have a conversation. Because I want to make sure that your theological impact is being impacted positively through your psychological understanding and through your sociological environment. Your sociological environment can set the tone for you for a long ways. Are you willing to seek to do better because now you know better and that you want better? Let this resonate with you. Somebody type this in real quick. Violence is fed by loss of love, lack of reverence, no respect, and diminishing morals. Violence is fed by a loss of love, no reverence, no respect, and diminishing morals. Hey, go to one of my Facebook pages. You should be able to share this. I'm going to make it shareable if it's not. It's also on my YouTube page. You can pull that down and pull it from my YouTube page and share it. And by the way, speaking of YouTube, hey, subscribe to my page, Propelliiing Life. Subscribe to it, share it. I'm beginning to drop quite a few things in there as well. And man, I just want to share the love. I want to build a better America. I want people to understand that love is important. You know, we have many that are pushing for other agendas. I don't care what you're pushing for. I'm talking about what God loves and what I need to do. Thank you, baby. Violence is fed by a loss of love, no reverence, and no respect, and diminishing morals. And diminishing morals. That's what they are. You don't believe me? Take a survey, collect some data, do some studying. And when you find out that these things are leading to violence, write me back and say, man, coach, pastor, you were right. Violence is so high. That's why people are shooting. That's why people are man, just doing God forbidden things. So y'all watched a hit and run right in front of me today. I watched this guy turn right in front of me to cut across traffic to make a left turn. He hit a car coming down the travel lane, the little shoulder lane. He hit him and he kept going. He kept going. What is that? That's a loss of respect. A lack of respect. Lack of respect for other people's property. What if that man had got out and began to open fire at him? Look at all of us would have been in danger because of a lack of respect. Hey, it's real. What are we going to pour into our youth that's going to be leading us when we get to be in our 70s and 80s? I'm almost there. I've lived over half of my life now at the age of 56. What are you living for? What are you striving for? What kind of difference do you want to make, not only in your life, but in others' lives? Hey, it's been a 30-minute talk, man. Hey, God bless you. God keep you. May the Lord bless you and continue to use you. QR codes at the top. You want to sow into this word, sow into it. QR code at the top. You want to make an appointment, let's sit down, let's talk. First session is free. 30-minute session is free. After that, we begin to move into a direction where we can get you on a plan to help you reach the goals that you want to reach. Let's make a difference. Let's regain love. Let's start reverencing authority and those, our parents and grandparents. Let's start respecting each other, man. Let's command it and don't demand it. And let's get back to establishing morals and not diminishing morals. It's your boy, D. Trey Harris, Christian life coach from Propelliiing Life. That's 2 L's, 3 I's. QR code at the top. Hit it up. I'm also the senior pastor at New Life Christian Fellowship Center, Texas. Hey, it's on all of my feeds, on all my Facebook pages. This is on my Instagram and my Threads page. Hit it. Go to my YouTube page. Subscribe, like, share this video. Look at some of the others I have up there. Let them speak to your soul. Let them speak to your spirit. Let it build you up and encourage you. And by all means, let's have a conversation. First 30 minutes are free. Amen. Team mentoring, team behaviors, spirituality. We do pastoral ministry, business coaching, changing the culture in businesses. Let's have a conversation. Share it. Call me up. Let's talk. You're a business owner. You got 7 or 8 employees, 5, 6 employees, and you want to look at things and you want to see how you can change the culture within your organization. Let's have a conversation, see what we can do. All right? You're a pastor and you need to you got some goals, you don't know how to reach them, and you want to sit down and speak with a Christian life coach, somebody that have planted 2 churches that God is blessed to be able to endure the attacks of the enemy that has come against him and his ministries. Come and see me. I'm not a mega pastor. Let me make that plain right now. I'm mega in my mind and mega in my heart, but I can also show you how to improve and how to understand the importance of an ever-changing ministry that we're in today, where the word of God never changes, but the people of God do understand what change looks like. God bless you. God keep you. Look forward to hearing from you soon. Hey, Kevin Gilman, I see you out there in Arizona. Hey, daughter, sister Renisha Harrison family, we see you down in Arizona. I thank all you that are watching me in Georgia. I'm sorry. I see all you guys that are tuning in. Type in where you're watching from. Catch one of the feeds. Share. I got to get busy. Got some schoolwork to do. 19 weeks out from being doctor. God bless you. God keep you. Who would have thought? Gilmer, who would have thought? All these years, man, I'm doing it the right way, writing a dissertation. Hey, God bless you. God keep you. See you soon. We love you. Share. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube page at Propelliiing Life, 2 L's, 3 I's. God bless you. God keep you. See you soon. Love you. Tell somebody you love them. Reestablish some respect. Get some reverence. Stand against violence by establishing and not diminishing morals. God bless you.